Yo, whether you watching from Facebook, Twitter, click the link in my Instagram, moviepilot.com, or YouTube itself, what up, world? So, I just saw my most anticipated movie of the year, Batman v Superman: Dawn of Justice. It's starring Ben Affleck, Henry Cavill, Amy Adams, Jesse Eisenberg, Holly Hunter, Jeremy Irons, Lawrence Fishburne, Gal Gadot, and the chick that plays Jesse Eisenberg, Lex Luthor's secretary that was in the Wolverine. Cute little Asian girl. I'm not gonna try to pronounce her name, but just know she's in it. And it's directed by Zack Snyder. He did Man of Steel. He did Dawn of the Dead in '04, 300, Watchmen, Sucker Punch, man. You guys know his filmography. And if you guys want to shout out in my next review, stay tuned all the way through the end of this video for your chance to get that. Now, as far as story goes, as less spoiler as possible, from what we've seen in the trailers, you have Ben Affleck's Batman. He is not a fan of Superman. He's an alien who can wipe out the entire Earth population at any blink of an eye. You have Clark Kent, Superman, who disagrees with the way that the Bat Vigilante handles his crime in Gotham City. And these two titans of comic book fandom come together, and it goes on from there, man. You know this isn't a potential Captain America Civil War situation where they're not going to make up. We've seen in the trailers that they're eventually on the same side. And let me just start by saying Ben Affleck is hands down the best Bruce Wayne. He has all the characteristics of a perfect Bruce Wayne, where Keaton had some, but not all. Even Kilmer and Clooney had some, but not all. Bale had some, but Bale was not the perfect Bruce Wayne. Affleck is the best Batman we've had, hands down. The most comic book accurate Batman, hands down. You can clamor for Christian Bale. I love Christian Bale as Batman. The Dark Knight is my favorite movie of all time. I don't want to ever sound like I'm putting down the Nolan series. But that's Batman in the real world. Christian Bale's Batman is what Batman would be like in the real world if he really existed. That's why those movies would have never had characters like Clayface, Mr. Freeze, Poison Ivy, these unrealistic, powerful supervillains. We're in a world now where Ben Affleck's Batman can go against anybody. And I just loved Ben Affleck as Batman. Even if you're skeptical, because I know this movie has gotten some lukewarm to negative reviews, go see this movie just for Ben Affleck's Batman. And then Henry Cavill as Superman, as Kal-El. He's still, and even more, my favorite Superman that we've ever had. I've seen the Christopher Reeve movies. I've seen Superman Returns. I never got attached to Christopher Reeve as Superman. He was never my Superman. That was Superman, but I was a Batman head growing up. So Henry Cavill won me over in Man of Steel, and he does nothing but build upon his legacy, I guess, as Superman. And even Clark Kent. Like, the one thing that I wanted to see in Man of Steel was Clark Kent working at the Daily Planet. We didn't get that until the very end, and now we got Clark Kent at the Daily Planet. Cause y'all seen the trailers. I gotta go back to the trailers. What Lawrence Fishburne say, man? What Perry White say? Nobody wants to see Clark Kent take on the Batman. He wants to see you take the red pill or the blue pill. And Gal Gadot, man, or Gal Gadot. I've only ever seen her in the Fast and Furious franchise. She comes in. You see her in a couple scenes as Diana Prince, and she's dope in those couple scenes. And then once she's Wonder Woman, yo, my crowd, the crowd in my theater erupted in applause. It was so dope, and she kills it for the time in this movie that she's Wonder Woman. She got me mad hype for next June's Wonder Woman solo movie. And then let me touch on a couple supporting characters, man. Jeremy Irons, Uncle Scar as Alfred, man. He might be my favorite Alfred. He's not no, can I persuade you to take a sandwich with you, sir? And he's not like old as hell Michael Caine. Like, he's in the mix. You see in the trailers, he's helping steer the Batplane. That shit is so dope to me. He's kind of to a degree like Alfred from Gotham. He's down to throw down, but he's always gonna give Bruce shit about the life he chose. And then what a lot of people are curious about, Jesse Eisenberg's Lex Luthor. I didn't mind him. He wasn't Gene Hackman. He wasn't Kevin Spacey. He was really hipster Lex Luthor, man. Lex Luthor for a new generation. I didn't mind him, man. That's if you're gonna be invested in the DC extended universe, you have to accept some of the character changes. Like, I think all the tattoos on every single Suicide Squad character, I think they're all pointless. But that's the version that they want to go with for the extended universe. So you have to adapt. You have to get used to how some of these characters are gonna be. And this is Lex Luthor now. And there's a scene where, like, we get introduced to him and we see his plan start to take baby steps, but then there's a sequence that just it happened, and I was sold on Eisenberg as a villain, as this Lex Luthor. I was sold. Just a little bit about Lois Lane, Amy Adams. She doesn't have as many cheesy ass one-liners or quotes as she did in Man of Steel, which is real dope. There's so much going on that she doesn't get as much screen time as she did in Man of Steel, and that works too. I don't dislike her as Lois Lane, but she wasn't ever my first choice for the character, and she's not horrible. Like, once again, like, things that they're doing with this extended universe, because, you know what I'm saying, if you've seen Man of Steel, you know that she's familiar. She already knows that Clark Kent is Superman. And in the Christopher Reeve movies, and I'm pretty sure even in the animated series I grew up with, Lois Lane never really knew that Clark Kent was Superman. But it worked for what it was. They don't necessarily beat you over the head with their romance in this movie, but there are two or three scenes. And man, like, people that already go in with a negative outlook to this movie, people are gonna complain. People are gonna find something to complain about. The literal Batman v Superman portion of this movie isn't exactly what I would have preferred or what I expected, but I really dug how they incorporated that into the movie. The the way it works as far as the story evolves worked for me. And then Doomsday. He's been a hot topic of discussion ever since that what December trailer. Doomsday does what Doomsday characteristically does. He might not do it to the full extent that people want him to, but he still does it. So if anybody talking about, oh well, this happens to Doomsday, but you saw it in the trailer, so it happened. It's what they wanted for this universe. So just accept it. Like, I love Marvel movies, but Marvel is not 100% accurate to the source material. So why hold DC to the rule if Marvel isn't going to, right? I mean, it's the same director as Man of Steel. If you had a problem with all the destruction and all the potentially lost lives, nothing changes. You're not going to walk out of here like, well, not as many casualties happened. No, like, shit gets wrecked just as much as it did in Man of Steel, maybe more, maybe more. And man, I got really excited, man. I wish they would have just fucking just lifted the Marvel blueprint, solo movie, solo movie, solo movie, solo movie, team up. But nah, they did their first movie, Man of Steel, solo movie. This is a quasi team up, and then it it laid the foundation for the Justice League. It put the wheels in motion for the future. November 2017, we're gonna see all these heroes come together, and the teases we got were really cool. Like I mentioned, the bad press that this movie's getting, and I feel like it's a bunch of people that they either got Marvel goggles on. Oh, it wasn't as funny and it didn't have the humor like the Marvel movies have. That's Marvel's thing, man. The head of Warner Brothers said that the DC universe isn't gonna be joke a minute like Marvel. It's gonna be a more serious tone. That's what we got. And like motherfuckers are like suffering from like Christopher Nolanitis. This is a comic world. Nolan made one of the greatest trilogies of this century of Batman in the real world. This is not Batman in the real world. This is Batman smack dab in the middle of a comic book world where Kryptonians, hopefully eventually Martian Manhunters, Atlanteans, the Green Lantern Corps, all these people exist. Outer space exists. This movie is a Marvel movie minus the humor with a Nolan glaze. You have the comic world with a darker tone. And it worked for me, man. Like I can't get on board with anybody who doesn't like this movie because of the lack of humor or the tone or whatever, man. Like it's its own thing. Like let it be its own thing. Like as much as I'm praising, don't get it twisted. There were a couple things that I didn't like, and it's Batman v Superman, and so it just I don't feel like it was equal screen time. On the positive side, glass half full, you have to set up your new Batman. They did that perfect. But I think Superman sacrificed a little bit of screen time in order to set up Batman. There's a scene toward the end. There's an interaction between one of the heroes and a supporting character, and it just felt out of place in the moment of what was happening. And then, agree with me or not, I don't care about y'all views. Like I'm gonna let y'all know my views. I've said it before. I'm a Christian. I believe in God. I believe in Jesus. All of the biblical Superman comparisons are unnecessary. I know for years and years and years, Superman has been mentioned like a godlike figure. Man, build him up like they're doing Wonder Woman or like they do Thor, man, like these fictional gods. Whatever. But don't compare him as don't like say that Superman is the second coming and he's, completely indestructible, because comic book heads know that Superman is not completely indestructible. And the God that I know is almighty. They kind of beat you over the head, especially Lex Luthor, with referring to Superman as a god, and they got a little carried away. This might be the most thorough review I have done in months. With all that being said, man, I loved what I saw. It's not a perfect movie. I will admit it has flaws, it has issues. But in my opinion, and that's why you watching, to hear my opinion, in my opinion, Batman v Superman Dawn of Justice is dope as fuck. I loved what I saw, and I'm excited as hell for what is coming. Suicide Squad in August, Wonder Woman next June, Justice League the November after that. I cannot wait, man. I'm not a Marvel head. I'm not a DC head. I'm a comic book head, man. And we are in the prime of superhero comic book entertainment, man. At the theater, on Netflix, on TV. It's just it's so great to be a superhero fan right now. So, have you seen Batman v Superman Dawn of Justice? What did you think of it? Positive, negative, let me know, and let me know why. I really want to know detailed reasons why you loved it, liked it, disliked it, hated it. Share, man. shout out time, man. And finally, somebody answered my shout out question correctly. Somebody actually answered that motherfucker first, and somebody answered it correctly second. The Trigger Man on YouTube correctly predicted that 10 Cloverfield Lane would finish #2 its opening weekend. Now, if you want to shout out in my next review, which will likely be for The Boss on the weekend of April 8th, since we all know that this movie right here, Batman v Superman, is going to finish #1, what movie is going to finish #2 this weekend? Zootopia, My Big Fat Greek Wedding 2, 10 Cloverfield Lane, Deadpool, The Brothers Grimsby, Divergent. Go ahead, just first person before the box office results come out on Sunday to guess what's going to be #2. We'll get a shout out in my next movie review. Trying to get 200 likes on Facebook, Randy Little Movie Reviews. Just do your boy a favor, man. I'm trying to build up a little dope internet community where discussions can happen. I post new posters, obviously my reviews, new additions to my Blu-ray collection, etc., etc., etc. So just go over there and hit that like button for me. And then, no matter what you're going to watch, My Big Fat Greek Wedding, Batman v Superman, Divergent, Deadpool, 999, Race, Gods of Egypt, 10 Cloverfield Lane, man, tag me in your ticket stubs. I'm real curious to know what everybody watching. As far as upcoming videos, coming soon, right around the corner, my 3 favorite movies of the first quarter of the year. Just January, February, March, man. What was my 3 favorite movies from that portion of the year? Reviews for The Boss. I don't know if my theater will get Hardcore Henry, but it looks interesting enough to check out. And then the weekend after that, I want to see Barbershop. I want to see Jungle Book, and I want to see Criminal is the 3rd movie that comes out that weekend with Kevin Costner. And like, subscribe, comment, share. Find me where y'all find me, man. Peace.